And then, of course, who's going to own all these devices? Who's going to own the $17 trillion, right? So Cisco wants it, of course. Another one that wants it is Apple. So Apple announced this past week the Health Kit, Home Kit, which is essentially the Internet of Everything for Apple users, right? So again, a very closed, walled garden approach to the IoT. I desperately want the IoT to be open standard. Of course, that's difficult. Everybody wants to have a proprietary lock on the Internet of Things because $17 trillion is some nice pocket money, right? But I want you to go OTT on the IoT. I want you to go over the top. I don't want you, when you come up with your strategies, to buy into one standard, right? So Apple went OTT over the carriers and killed their business, and I believe the Internet of Things will go OTT over the top of Apple and make them the widget in the universe, not necessarily a dominant player. So that is my hope. And I think that's what's going to happen. And the reason is because of folk like this. Right, so this gentleman, Hugo, he used to work at Apple, actually. He was a guy who built hardware for Apple as a senior engineer. And then when he left Apple, he went to a startup called Nest that we've spoken about. And when he was at Nest, and they're building those thermostats and those smoke detectors, he got really frustrated because the fixation at Nest was on the device, because they also came from Apple. And Apple is all about the beauty of the device, the ergonomics of the device. They made the most beautiful smoke detectors and the most beautiful thermostats that you can imagine. They are gorgeous. But he said, you know what? The most exciting thing about this is the connection to the Internet of Things, that layer that they're building. Not necessarily all the complexity of building a thermostat, which is not trivial. So what he did is he broke off, and he was very much into, basically lighting up data. And the story goes, or at least he tells me the story, that he had a bathroom, and in the bathroom he plugged all these lights, these colored lights, into the bathroom, which allowed him to change the color of his bathroom based on data. So what he did is he plugged in an engine that said, I want the lights in my bathroom to change based on the stock market, based on the weather, based on the time of the day. So when he went in to his bathroom, he could tell that his Apple stock had gone up or down, or that it was raining outside, right? And so here is somebody who has a huge commitment to data and visualization of data. And so he developed something called the electric imp. And I have an example of it here. So the electric imp is basically something which is a generic connector, a very secure generic connector, and they come up with one which is far smaller than this. It's about a quarter of the size. And this little unit plugs into this little unit that plugs into anything. So you can have a dishwasher and put this into your dishwasher, not you, but the manufacturer. And then this now allows your dishwasher to now interact with the home hub, which is the Wi-Fi in the home, and it allows also you to pair your phone to the dishwasher or to this chip. So now you can tether your phone, so your phone becomes a controller, but the dishwasher is communicating through the Internet of Everything. Also, the manufacturers are monitoring the health of that unit, which allows for, very seamless service and upsell and all of those things. So now, suddenly, all the people who say, oh my gosh, Gary, I really like what you're talking about. How do I make my technology talk? Well, now you just plug this in. So what these guys are doing is going beyond the phone, because in this situation, the phone is not the hub. The phone is just the remote control. There is a direct data pull a secure data pull through the Wi-Fi into the cloud. So, and with these things, you can make gumball dispensers, which of course you've all been waiting for. So gumball dispensers, basically, it's just something in actually the foyer of electrical imp. But we walk into the room, it detects that there's a phone, and gumball comes out, but they're more profound ways of implementing this. Electric imp is used for things like this. So here's a sprinkling system, a lawn sprinkler, that is connected to your home Wi-Fi. And what does it do? It pulls down data on the weather. Why should I sprinkle the lawn on a day where it's going to rain? I don't know. Because I don't have a voice. I can't think. Well, now I can. So now your sprinkler can talk to you, you can talk back to it with data, and it can react intelligently. So really the thesis here is that there was this thing called the App Store, the digital App Store. And of course, we all bought into that vision of creating a digital app. There's another revolution happening, which is the physical App Store. And if you go into any Apple store, you will see the first sort of hesitating sort of steps towards the physical App Store. If you go to one, you'll see something like this, where you can buy something for your garage. Here's your Nest thermostat and smoke detectors, switch your electrical switches and whatnot. Just a handful. I can tell you within a year and a half of the Apple Store, half of the Galaxy Store will be physical apps that you're buying OTT on the handset manufacturers, but using them to control, using them to do certain things which are ergonomically sound, to light up the things around you. Your home, store, and hotel should be the app. Stop fixating on making the app resident on your consumer's device. That's just drinking the Apple Kool-Aid. You don't have to make this incredible app on somebody's phone to be relevant. You've invested in your bricks and mortar. Make your bricks and mortar the app. Make your bricks and mortar, make your hotel smart, and enable the phone to be detected and turn on that smart. Make the phone the intelligent server so you can recognize when your guest comes in and act accordingly. Invest in what you've done from day one, which is making good hotels. Understand your guest here, not only in the cloud, not only on their phone. Okay. And so I think there's a fundamental shift, and things like this, which is this is just a Wi-Fi hotspot essentially. It's a wire mesh device. It's about $100 or under. I can send this out to a store or a hotel for that matter. They can plug this into their router and they get instant Wi-Fi. But more than that, what this allows us to do is also monitor all the MAC addresses that come in and out of the hotel. Now, unfortunately, Mac, as usual, Apple as usual, has shut off or hashed their MAC addresses on their devices. Every device has a MAC address. Nothing to do with Macintosh. You have a MAC address on your PCs, on your tablet, on your phone. And when you come into range of Wi-Fi, it detects that, oh, I see a MAC address. 411.854.88. We don't know who it is, but we know you're in range, and we know that it's a unique number. Apple's just hashed that because they don't want us to go OTT on them. But anyway, at this point, you can tell who's coming in and out of your hotel. But more importantly, forget about the anonymous analytics. When somebody comes onto your Wi-Fi, right now, what do? They're in your hotel, so you just want to remind them, so you give them your home page again, right? But what you should be doing is saying, hey, just like Starbucks, hey, thanks for jumping on our Wi-Fi. Please Give us your number, your phone number. Give us your email. I want to associate your phone number and your email with your MAC address. As soon as they associate their email or their phone number with their MAC address, suddenly you get to see them not only as a number, but as a person. Now, when they come into your hotel, you could have a profile, again, all opt-in. You can have a profile behind that MAC address so that you say, Gary Schwartz just walked into my hotel, or Gary Schwartz just walked by my hotel, or Gary Schwartz used to be in this hotel, is going by one of our partner hotels in Vegas now. Maybe I should invite him in for a drink. Right? Wouldn't that be amazing? So suddenly you get to have a relationship with that intelligence survey, and you become so smart. Right? And you become so hospitable, and you become what you should be as hotels. Then I can say, Gary Schwartz just walked into his room. I'm going to turn up the heating. I'm going to turn down the heating. I'm going to switch on the television. I'm going to turn up the lights. I don't know what I'm going to do, but now you can choreograph a journey. Gary Schwartz can set preferences to his journey so that when he comes in, gin and tonic's waiting for him, his room is at the right temperature, all of that is possible. All of that has to happen and will happen. It's just a question of when you guys are going to do it. Because I tell you, it will happen. It will be obligatory to the hospitality experience. So now you have the opportunity of doing something really simple. Change your Wi-Fi login. That's all you have to do. And you can do all of this behind that opt-in. Right? Easy peasy, $100. You can put it on every floor. There are beacons. These are beacons, right, that you can put in iBeacons. I'm not a fan of beacons because they have to have an app behind them, and it's opt-out only. There are limitations at the kazoo. It's only faster phones. Beacons tend to be proprietary, like iBeacons to Apple. So not a fan, but there's another way of interacting with folk around you. So make that shift. Don't only think about apps as resident on smartphones. Think about your hotels as apps. And then you can be interacting with people irrespective of what phone they have. You can see them and heat map them in your hotels. And so I want to sort of end with Sigmund here. So Sigmund wrote a book called Civilization, and it's around 1903, a few years before Bertrand wrote his Chicken. And what did he say? He said, man has become a prosthetic god. I love that. Man has become a prosthetic god. What does he mean? Well, basically, in his day, any day, man had to be more powerful than he was in his naked form. He had an arrow, or he had a toupee, or he had a car, all things that made him more than he is in his natural form. So we always use things to be stronger, more powerful, to be more intelligent, right? We're prosthetics. We use things that extend from ourselves that aren't actually there. The problem is that man has become a prosthetic god. When he puts on all these auxiliary organs, he's truly magnificent. But those organs have not grown on him or her naturally, right? You shove them on there like Google glasses, and they still give him much trouble at times. So when we're thinking about how to add functionality to our guest, add functionality to our hotel, we have to think of what works, what doesn't, what is human, because it's not about technology, it's about the mobile consumer. It's about their journey, and it's very much about the journey to the wallet and then the journey to affinity with our hotels, and we need to plot that journey. It can't be haphazard. It can't just be based on today's ROI calculator so we get a bonus at the end of the year. It has to be baked into a long-term plan. Ultimately, that's going to deliver more ROI, more cash down the road. So the big thing here is when we look at what is the next revolution, maybe we just need to think about connecting things more fluidly. Maybe we have to think of what I term the digital Velcro. We talked in the beginning about connecting those screens. right? Now we have to connect more than screens. We have to connect all the things in our hotels. We have to connect it to our guests. We have to connect it to those experiences and to our CRM, to our opt-in, to our wallets. And the more we can connect seamlessly, the more fluid that journey is, the more we will delight our customers, the more revenue we will be able to drive. And so digital Velcro is your ability to not only connect screens, which you're trying to do now, and there's a lot of discussion on how to make that electronic journey more seamless, how to make checkout more seamless, but it's more than that. It's connecting all the retail touch points, all the hospitality touch points. Otherwise, right? And we don't want to go there. So I'll end with this guy, since we're talking about interesting folk. George Bernard Shaw, Man and Superman, 1903. It was all around the same time. Smart guys around the turn of the century. And he said, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man will persist on trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man or woman. Right? So I leave you with this. All these thoughts. And obviously, you know, some of you are the right decision makers, some of you aren't. I want you to, whatever you do going forward, to be unreasonable. I want you to be unreasonable. I don't want you to think evolutionarily. I want you to think revolutionarily. Thank you. That's some books I wrote, and that's how you can reach me. And there's thing 1 and thing 2. Thank you.